graders. Hi, I hope everybody had a great week. To start off our lesson today, I have a little joke for you guys. So my joke is, what do cows read? Okay, so what do cows read? Catalogs. Okay, so that was pretty funny. So let's start by talking about our last lesson and just review what we talked about, okay? So think about what we discussed, and remember, we talked about setting goals, okay? So remember, a goal is something that you want to achieve. Remember, it should be something that's important to you, something that has meaning to you. Remember that we need to make sure that we set reachable goals, okay? We want realistic, reachable goals. And who can remember the 4 things that we need to consider in order to name your goal and make sure that it's reachable? Okay, so remember, the goal should be personal, should be important to you, it should be possible, okay, something that make sure that you have all the resources and everything you need to be able to achieve it. Remember, when you state or name your goal, it should be in a positive action, so use positive action words. And it should be specific, with a specific amount of time that you want to reach your goal in. Okay, so how many of you made progress towards your goal that you set? Okay, so think about it. Did you make any progress? Did you do any of the action steps in achieving your goal? Maybe some of you have actually achieved the goal. Okay, if you did, good job. If you are still working at it, great job. Keep up the good work. Today for lesson 2, we are going to talk about making responsible decisions. I'm not sure if anybody has ever heard of Kid President before, but he goes on YouTube and makes short videos, and I found one on making good decisions. Okay, so he's going to talk to you about the choices that you make and how they can impact the world, okay? And if everybody made good choices with good outcomes, we would probably have a better world. So we have the link here. In the next slide, it's going to, I think you're only going to be able to hear the audio of the video. So if you have access to a computer, this is the link if you want to watch the video after.
You know what time it is? Decision time. Well, so you got a decision to make. Don't worry. You make decisions all the time, like what to eat, what to buy, what to wear, how to spend your time, who to spend your time with, what you're gonna say, how you're gonna say it, whether or not you put on the dinosaur costume and skate from town. Hey, it's an option, and I'm proud of it. Researchers found this. We make thousands of choices each day. Thousands. In fact, the more responsibilities that you have, the more choices you have to make. It's options all up in your face all the time. And on top of all this, with each choice comes a consequence. Every choice that you make leads to something good or not so good. Like that old saying, everything happens for a reason. Sometimes that reason is you ate a whole roll of Oreo in my city. If you excuse me, I gotta take it. Okay, I'm back. Ugh, that's a bad decision. If you're watching this video, that means you're awesome. You're awesome. How will you make awesome choices? Here's a few choices for how you can make choices. You could be impulsive. Don't even think about it. Just mindlessly pull your cake and do whatever. Disclaimer. I don't recommend this choice for making choices. Now you can do it, but it'll lead to mixed results. It's especially dangerous while picking the wardrobe or the kitchen bomb or the impulsive one. Another choice you have when making choices, don't do anything. This is a choice to not make any choices, which is a poor choice. Just stand there, wait, do nothing. It's an option. It's always an option. You could say nothing, do nothing, but fair warning, then you'll be nothing. Just saying. Another choice for how you can make a choice. Just be a follower. Yeah, just do what everyone else is doing. When you're a follower, you don't really have to think. It's really simple. Just look around, see what everyone else is doing. Is everyone just complaining about something? You can do that too. Is everyone doing what everyone else is doing? You can do that too. Is everyone eating an entire row of Oreos in one sitting? Just do that. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm back. I have to make better choices. Being a follower, you can make that choice. It's just a really good problem. The world needs you. So how's about this? Focus on being someone worthwhile. I like that choice. Another choice how you can make your choices, be thoughtful. Warning, this requires thinking. It takes some thought to be thoughtful. But thinking, that's something we should do more often. Think about, what do I care about? What's important to me? What kind of world do I want to live in? Do my choices help create that world? I want to live in a world with more dancing. So what do I do? A little bit of dancing. The choices you make help make the world. All of us together make good choices sometimes too. Like we all try to come together and make a big decision. Like in an election. Who will lead our country? That's a big decision. Whatever happens there, there's something that you can't forget. Just how powerful you are. There are no small people and there are no small choices. You're making big choices every single day. And they make a big difference. Whether you're president in a big fancy Oval Office, or not the president, or just came with a fan phone and some cardboard. The choices matter on election day and every single day. Real change happens right in your backyard. The little decisions that you think are little, but actually a really big deal. The choices we make our lives. In your life, it's an awesome life. Make the kind of choices that are worthy of that awesome life. I'm gonna make a decision right now. This world needs a little more dancing, so I'm gonna dance right now. Oh, man. Dear kid. Seriously, why won't you answer my question? You're not really kidding me. You can't be kid president forever. They wrote this on capital letters. I don't know. I don't know. Growing up so hard, I don't know. This is, I don't know. Oh, well, I see we're out of time. I'll see I can answer that next episode. Bye.
As you work to reach your goals, you will make many decisions. Some decisions are easy to make while others require more thought. More difficult decisions require you to stop and think about your options because the decision has more serious consequences. So you might also have to think about how your decision will affect someone else. It's not only you, but the people around you. So what is a consequence? Okay, a consequence is a result of an action you take or a decision you make. So for example, if you decide not to study for a test, you will probably get a bad grade on the test. Okay, if you get a bad grade, maybe your parents will maybe take your phone away. Okay, so those are some consequences of not studying for a test, and they are negative consequences. Nobody wants their phone taken away, or no one wants a bad grade. So bad decisions can have negative consequences. So are all consequences negative? No, right? Some consequences or decisions have positive consequences. For example, if you decide to study for the test, you're likely to get a good grade. So getting a good grade will have good consequences, right? Good rewards. So you might do great in the class because of that test grade. Your parents will be happy, your teachers will be happy, and you'll be proud of yourself. Okay, so good decisions usually have positive consequences. So that's why we're talking about making these decisions, because we want to lead you in the direction of having more positive decisions so you can have positive consequences. So that's why it's really important to stop and think before you make a decision. Okay, you can use the decision-making model to help you make these tough decisions. So I'm going to show you how. All right, it's a step process that we're going to learn. Okay, welcome to our decision-making poster. Okay, so what's the first step in the decision-making model? Okay, so if you see up top, it's stop. Right, that's right, stop before you make a decision. If you respond too quickly, you might make a bad decision or be disappointed with the one you make. So it's very important to stop and think about what is the decision that you have to make. Okay, the second step is to think. Okay, after you stop, it's time to think. Okay, think about the best outcome or what the best outcome would be, and think about what you can do to reach it. So then you can list the positive and negative consequences of each option so that you can figure out which one is the best choice. Okay, remember, we have positive outcomes, we're going to have positive consequences. Okay, so we want to list all our options and make sure that we have the best positive option so that we can have a good outcome. Okay, then the third step. Okay, the third step is in the green, which is act. Exactly, it's time to act out the best plan. Okay, so you're going to act out the best decision that you've made. And once you've acted out on your decision, the last step in the decision-making model is to reflect. Okay, this is when you're going to evaluate how you did. It's the time to think about and ask yourself if you made the right decision. If your decision didn't turn out the way you hoped, then think about what other choice you could make the next time you are in a similar situation. So we're going to take a closer look at the second step, which is to think or think through your decision. Okay. We are going to read a scenario together. Okay, it might be hard for you guys to see this. I know it's a little bit smaller on your screen, but I'll read it out loud. And then we're going to talk about the options that this person had and what the best positive consequence that they could pick, okay, would be. All right, so the scenario is that Tuesday evening, your mom tells you that your grandparents are coming for dinner next Friday. You haven't seen them in a while, so you're excited about their visit. On Wednesday, a friend invites you to a birthday party on the same night your grandparents will be in town. How many of you has this happened to? I know it's happened to me before in my life. Most of your friends will be at the birthday party. Your mom says to you, you can only do one, right? So you must pick one thing to do. The decision is yours, but your grandparents are really looking forward to seeing you. So you have to decide how to spend your Friday night. What do you do? Okay, so we have two options, okay? The option number one that they wrote for you is to stay home and eat dinner with your grandparents, right? That was the first option. That was before you were invited to your friend's birthday party. So that's option number one. And then we have option number two, which is go to the party with your friends. Okay, so in both of these options, you're going to be disappointing someone, and you're probably going to be disappointed yourself. So in the first option, we have a positive consequence and we have a negative consequence. Okay, so the positive consequence to eating dinner with your grandparents and staying home with them would be that your grandparents would be happy, right? And you would be happy because you'd get to see them and spend time with them. And also your mom would probably be very happy with your decision. Okay, the negative consequence of that option is that you wouldn't get to go to the party, okay? And you would miss time with your friends. All right, so each of these options, like I said, they're going to have a positive and a negative consequence. So you got to pick what is right for you and what you can handle, okay? So option two is go to the party with your friends. The positive consequence would be that you get to hang out with your friends and you feel happy because you get to go to the party, okay? And the negative consequences are that you won't get to see your grandparents and your mom might be disappointed with your decision. Okay, and you really might be disappointed too because, well, you will be disappointed because you don't get to see your grandparents. And remember, you haven't seen them in a long time. So the positive outcome in the scenario would be to choose the best way to spend your time. So after you reviewed your options and the consequences that will follow from your options, then the third step in making the decision would be to act on it, right? So you would mark the option that you would act on, and then you would go forth with your action. And then after, remember, the last step would be to reflect. Okay, was that the best option? Maybe next time, maybe you would choose a different option. Okay, so remember, first step in decision making is to stop, right? We need to stop and see what is the decision that we are about to make. Okay, evaluate that decision. And then the second step would be to think about it, right? So that's where it kind of gets a little more complicated. You're going to be thinking about all your options and whether your options are going to lead to a positive or a negative consequence. Okay, once you decide on what is going to be the best decision for you and have the best positive outcome, then you need to act on that decision. Okay. Once you've acted out on the decision, that's your time to reflect. Remember, evaluate how you did. Good job. So the decision-making steps help us to stop so we can think through the best decision. Okay, so remember, the next time you're faced with a decision that that requires more time and more thought, I'd like you to really stop and think, okay, and think about all your options before you make a decision, okay? And before you act it out. And then in our next lesson, we will learn how to identify our emotions, okay, our emotions that we deal with, and discuss how they can influence our decision making. So there are many factors that will influence us. Factors that include maybe what your friends are doing, or how something makes you feel emotionally, okay, and that influences our decision making. And sometimes we don't always make the best decisions based on our emotions. So we're going to talk about that in our next lesson. Okay, so it's the end of our lesson, and I have our SCAZA email up. Remember, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to add, I'd like you to email us at scazaprevention@gmail.com. And we will get back to you. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next week when we talk about our emotions and how they influence our decisions we make. Okay, bye guys.